What's up, guys, and welcome back to Tech Planet. We are going to be doing a sweet experiment today. We're going to be testing out if coconut water is good for propagating. Let's check it out.
Alright, so just like I said in the intro, we are going to be testing out whether coconut water is good or not for propagation. This was recommended in the comments by other users, so I'm really excited to try this out. Again, I did ask a lot of people what are some recommendations, and so I do want to actually try them. So this is one more reminder. If you have anything you can even possibly think of that you want me to test, put it in the comments and I will put it to the test. Now, I did make sure I had some organic coconut water that had no additives or nothing else, so we're not going to have to worry about like some obscure thing that could have caused issues. This is just flat out coconut water. Like the good old days, pothos is our experimental plant. We are sacrificing this one. I want to say this was some sort of like snowdrift, or I forget what they call these ones, but it doesn't look as white as it used to. I don't know if it's the lighting or whatever, but we're just going to chop this thing up into a bunch of different pieces. Now, some of you have probably noticed in this footage that there are some leaves that are very green, some that have a lot of variegation. So we do want to try and keep this test fair because, again, I don't want to put a bunch of variegated stuff in one jar and a green stuff in the other and then try and compare the two because that might cause issues. If you don't know this already, variegation, while it is beautiful, really hinders the plant in a sense because it doesn't have the chlorophyll and it can't produce nearly as much energy as its green counterparts. So we do have to divide this pretty evenly so that way we have a pretty decent test. Also, when dividing this, I am trying to take into account the actual thickness of the nodes because, again, I'm trying to make this as equal as possible just in case there are good results or bad results. It always helps to pretty much set this up from the start correctly because, again, a lot of times people will call out certain like inaccuracies in my videos in the comments, which is good and always appreciated. So don't even hesitate to criticize because there's always ways to learn from criticism. So anyways, I pretty much have a pile of these two pothos. I split them the best I can, and we need 2 jars. And to sort of mark this, I do have the orange sticker on the bottom, and that is going to be the one with the coconut water, and then the one on the side is going to be our water. I am using the leaves just to hang on the edge here, and that usually works pretty good for me. I'm just going to make sure that the water level and coconut water level are above the nodes, so that way they all get an equal chance at sucking up the nutrients and whatever they need, and they're able to try and root. I did keep these under grow lights, and we did start this in December 27th of 2023. Alright, we are jumping ahead 6 days to January 2nd, 2024. We are in the new year, and things are looking yucky. Also, don't mind the Paw Patrol Band-Aid. My son likes to find like mirror injuries, I guess. If he has a scrape and I have a scrape, he is obsessed with that, so that's why I'm wearing that. But anyways, again, you can look up close here and see things are not looking all that good for our coconut water here. I don't know if there's sugars in there or what, but just the extra organics in that liquid is causing a little bit of molding. However, I'm not too freaked out right away because I've seen mold many times and I just leave it do its thing and usually it doesn't pose too many issues. Obviously on the water side, things are looking great, but that's to be expected because water has pretty much been like the baseline for most of my experiments, and so I don't expect too many crazy things to occur. Alright, it is January 10th. I think we're about 15 days since the start of the experiment. Maybe 14 days. I'm forgetting my math here. But you guys are smarter than me. You can do the math. And things are not looking so hot from far away. Looking at the coconut water one first, you can see we got all kinds of sweet molds cultured. That might even be like penicillin or something. I'm really not sure what it really looks like. But there's a lot of stuff growing, a little more than I expected. And it is not looking good. Before we dig into that though, let's take a look at our water one just from afar. That one is looking pretty good. I can see some roots right away, but again, that is pretty expected. We are just trying to see if this coconut water can outperform regular water, but so far it's not looking that good. Again, I don't know what this mold is, but if you look at this water, it looks pretty gross. Maybe I could improve on this experiment by constantly changing it out. I'm not sure, but that kind of, if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Looking up close, so they are pretty nasty looking. They are all covered in like slimy stuff. All the organic tissue on this stuff is really starting to get like sort of eaten away. Anywhere that looked like it wanted to try and make a root, it just kind of molded away. Again, this environment is not good. It's also sort of inhibited anything. I don't see any like real progress at all, so it hasn't done well. Now, I'm right off the bat going to rule out the whole coconut water being better than regular water. It has performed very poorly, so I don't want to give up and just kill this stuff. I want to see if we can correct our mistakes. So I washed them up really good. I tried to get most of that mold off, all the slime off, and I just rubbed it really good under sink water. And we're going to just put it in regular water now and just see if we can either catch up to regular water or at least turn this around. We don't want to see these die, so hopefully just by dropping these in some regular water, they'll bounce back like nothing happened. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I did add a little of that old Pothos water from the clean one into the new one. Hopefully that also helps jumpstart things. Alright, quite a bit of time has gone by now. It is about February 9th, so I'm not sure what that puts us at. Maybe like a month and a half, somewhere around there. Not crazy long, but you can see they're both rooting now just from far away, and looking up close you can see it's even more evident. Obviously the ones that have been rooting in water this entire time are much further ahead. They've got a lot more root growth and a lot more actual like plant growth, so the nodes are all activated and they're all growing out nicely. Now, contrasting that against our coconut water, which failed miserably in the beginning, and we switched out to regular water, these have caught up quite a bit. Surprisingly, they're not that far behind. Now, they have not grown their little activated nodes on many of them, and their roots are a little smaller and less developed, but surprisingly, it's not too bad. You could pot all these up in the same pot, and they would totally be fine, and weeks from now, you wouldn't even be able to distinguish the difference. So, it's really cool that even though we did not succeed with the coconut water, we also didn't kill our plants, and it's neat to see that you can experiment and still fail but bounce back and succeed. So would I recommend coconut water? Well, I don't think it's going to work for you guys, but you never know. Again, I've made a lot of statements here, and I've always seen people in the comments with contrary information, so maybe it works for you. Maybe try it at home. I don't know. I think with the organics and everything in there, there's a lot of room for mold and other bad things to happen. So I definitely wouldn't recommend this over water. But if you're feeling cool and you want to experiment at home, definitely give it a try.
Well, guys, that pretty much sums up this video. I hope you enjoyed that experiment. I was really hoping that the coconut water would have some really cool effects and do some pretty neat stuff. But sadly, there's probably sugars and other things in there that do cause a lot of mold. Either way, it was still fun to do, and I'm glad a user submitted this experiment. So again, if you guys have any other experiments you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. It's always helpful, and it gives me cool ideas to try. As always, may your plants grow strong and healthy. Keep experimenting, and I'll see you next time.